Well, welcome to Ruggers, and today we're going to just look at the rugby, the matches the past week, starting with the SAA team versus the British and Irish Lions. Carl, a match that, although I say the SAA team beat the Lions 17-13, a great win, but otherwise not really a convincing match from either side.
Yeah, personally, and Warren Gatland and those guys are making a big thing about it, that they now know what to expect from South Africa, and they're not far from being wrong, because I mean that first 40 minutes we played like we played in the World Cup final and everything. So yeah, the British Lions, according to me, knows exactly what to expect from the Springboks on Saturday. That's my problem, and I don't think we know what we're going to get from the British Lions as of yet. Because every game they play a different game plan, testing different combinations. So, yeah, nothing gained for South Africa. Personally, I don't think we gained anything.
No, but I noticed our defence was very much on par, like in the World Cup. They could only score against us when we were 13 men against them on the field. Most of the players did not look as rusty as expected, coming back from a long time of no play. However, a question mark about our scrums. I think we did not dominate as we were hoping there, in terms of the current combination of all the player selection combos in the forwards for that match. And then, yes, the mauls also, we were not dominating.
They stopped our mauls completely, immediately. Before we could start, they stopped our mauls. Yeah.
So that was just I put it as question marks. I think there's room for improvement. It's not all lost.
No, there's definitely room for improvement, but I mean, this was 80% the Springbok team that started.
Definitely.
And yeah.
So yeah, players that for me that I enjoyed was Simoon Nkosi. I think had a very good match. And Joseph Dweba at the hooker, newcomer.
I've got a problem with Dweba because he struggles with his throwing in the lineouts. He showed it in the match against the Bulls also. And we need to start selecting people that can do their basics. If we keep on selecting players that can't do their basic jobs, I mean, every position on the field has got a basic job. It's nice and fine if we've got a ball on the front foot and everything. Joseph and all the guys, they can run for. If the game goes forward, everybody is happy and everybody plays. We need to. Bongi is absolutely necessity for the Springboks, because according to me, one of few players that can actually throw the ball in at this lineouts.
Especially when it's crunch time.
Especially when it's crunch time.
Yeah. Other players, Bok players or A-team players that stood up for you?
Well, definitely Peter Steff and Eben Etzebeth. I mean,
yes.
The defence, they had monstrous tackles on these Englishmen, and that turned them around.
I saw Etzebeth sprinting when we were down 13 men. He was actually defending on the wing. Sprinting across the field to get to make tackles out wide. So astounding work rate again from both of them.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, and Peter Steff, he went off the field to have a concussion test, HIA test, but he was cleared afterwards and everything. So.
Thankfully for that.
Yeah.
Very happy to hear that. Then SAA versus the Bulls. SAA losing their 14-17 against the Bulls. Surprise victory for the Bulls, but also wasn't a good match to watch. It was fraught with errors from both sides.
I think both sides can claim they lost the game and not won the game, because I mean the Bulls had 4 or 5 opportunities to make the score even bigger. And the final pass didn't go to hand and that kind of stuff. But yes, the Bulls deserving the win. On the other hand, you can see that SAA used this as a trial match, as a warm-up match, because they never went for the poles and everything. Was it 5 or 6 times they should have gone to poles? hopefully with the right captain and everything, hopefully we can go for poles because it's Test rugby.
What I picked up was there seems to be quite a difference between the team that was selected for the first match, SA8 team, against the Lions, and then obviously the team against the Bulls. A vast difference, which concerns me because if you're looking at depth in the squad, let's call it this will be your replacement players. I don't know. Got question marks.
I think if you look at this team that was selected, 80% of them doesn't stand a chance to be selected for the tests.
Yeah.
And maybe it was just also that attitude also. There was one or two guys that really tried their best. The other guys just went through the paces.
Yeah. Players that stood out for you in the SA8 team for against the Bulls? I would like to. Goosen had a good game. Coming in from the cold, first time back in the fray of things.
So you mean from the Bulls side?
Yes.
Yeah, brilliant. Johan Goosen was brilliant. I'm not 100% sure, but when Keegan Johannes came, when he replaced what's the guy, Zak, on scrum half, it was just as if Johan Goosen had more time and more space to run at. Keegan Johannes is really stepping up. He's doing very well at the Bulls, and I hope they give him more chances. So Keegan and Johan Goosen was brilliant at the end of the.
Yeah, nice to see. Once again, some players that coming to the front that wasn't expected to. I mean, but you know what? That's the game.
But the whole Bulls. I mean, if you look at I think 80% of their forwards was younger than 25. But again, they had a lot to prove, and the SA8 team had a lot to lose, and the SA8 team lost.
Well done to the Bulls, simply put.
Yeah, you were lucky it was not Griquas.
Then the last match was Stormers against the British Isles Lions. Lions taking that one 43-3 of the Stormers. Stormers held up very well for the first 27 minutes of the match, and then thereafter. They started to struggle to get, the Lions started to obviously play the ball quick and wide, as they were wont to do, stretching the Storm's defence. And then, unfortunately, the score belies the actual quality of the Storm's game, because they only managed to score those, I think it was 3 tries, right in the last 10 minutes. Things unravelled. Up until then, it was still very much a low-scoring match.
I think apart from the Sharks' second game, this was the best showing against the British and Irish Lions. They again showed if you attack the Lions, if you're in their faces, and if you're aggressive in your defence and your attack, then they struggle. So I was impressed with the Stormers. Scoreline big, but I don't think the Stormers has got anything to be ashamed of.
No, definitely. And I think I've said it before. I'm actually very disappointed the Bulls is not going to face the British and Irish Lions. I think there could have been potentially some more surprises for the Lions, and some pleasant surprises for us in terms of a provincial team performance against the British and Irish Lions.
Your Bull supporters will take that now and run with it. All I can say, don't forget Bennett. And
water under the bridge.
Okay, all right. So don't claim the most successful franchise and nothing. It's all water under the bridge.
No, it's not about the past performance. It's just to have given the Bulls an opportunity with the way that they've been playing, Bennett in the side.
No, I mean,
I think from South African perspective, I think they would have rounded it off nicely.
The Bulls are the most successful South African franchise by far the last year and a half. So it would have been great. But unfortunately, and thanks to Willem and the crowd that were willing to travel to Cape Town and take
at very short notice.
Not really short notice. I know the guys knew about a week before that it's going to happen. But nevertheless, brilliant stuff. Willem always looking for new and better challenges.
Yes. Anything else?
Players that stood out. We already spoke about the only player from SAA that I personally think that's got as Mind you, we never know how Jock and those guys' heads are working. But Afalele Fasi again impressed. Obviously, they knew him. And they knew to take him down and everything very quickly and everything, but he still impressed a lot.
Albeit he's still very young. Still.
Yeah, but he's got so much talent. That guy's got so much talent. But
Is that the game breaker that we might need?
Yeah, I think so.
Remember we said we need a game breaker.
Yeah.
All right. And then from Stormer's side that stood out, once again, my two, I think we just agreed on that one, is young De Toy, Pieter-Steph's younger brother, and then Efan Roos again.
Yeah, both those guys were enormous on attack and in defense. So, yeah, that's the two guys that stood out. But it was a 15-man effort. These two guys they walked the extra mile. But it was a team effort from the Western Province. And I personally think we mustn't throw away Western Province too early this season, because they've got a lot of players that must come back. The Bulls has got everybody's got a lot of players except for the Lions. It seems like all their injury worries are finished. But yeah.
Well, then, as you say, don't throw the Stormers away, because upcoming rugby for the week, a nice busy rugby week again.
If we don't cancel our games.
Let's not go there. Wednesday, we have Lions versus the Sigma Lions versus the Griquas. Cheetahs versus Western Province, Sharks versus the Bulls.
Yeah, the Lions, like I just said, they've got full house. If it's only the one Tutuka brother that maybe will be out. Other than that, they are full house. All their players are there. So at Ellis Park, or what's it? Emirates
Airline Park. Okay, so you're calling the Lions on that one?
Obviously, the Lions, always the Lions.
Yes. Cheetahs Province in Bloemfontein.
Yeah, that's going to be a difficult one, especially taking into account Cheetah's performance last week.
Tails in the air.
Yeah, but I still think Western Province should take it, not by 100 points, but I still think they will be able to take it.
And then the big one, Sharks and the Bulls in Natal.
Yeah, well, the Sharks, without 9 of their players, against the Bulls team that played yesterday, you can only go for the Bulls.
I agree. Yeah.
But we'll have to see if the strikes and the burning and all this crap doesn't stop.
Then Saturday it will be Cheetahs against the Sharks. And then the big one.
Again in Bloemfontein.
Yeah, again in Bloemfontein, yes. Home ground advantage for the Cheetahs. And I think based on their results against Province on Wednesday, we might have to see. I'll probably root for the Cheetahs again, based on, like you say, Sharks have actually playing without 8 of their players on Saturday again. So let's see. Probably the Cheetahs have a standing good chance of taking that one. And then the big first test match, British Irish Lions versus the Springboks in Cape Town.
It's going to be a very interesting test. I would have said that the Springboks is a favourite by 15 to 20 points, but the return of Alan Wynne-Jones as touring captain, and most probably also as captain for the test, I think will narrow the gap significantly.
Yes, yes, I would say it's going to be a tight one, but I'm obviously rooting for the Springboks on that one. I think we've got the players, and even if they play the same type of rugby that they did in the World Cup, it worked. So unless Gatland finds a way to unlock the Springbok defence, which is I think our power point, and then we got to dominate front. You know, if you dominate the Lions in the front, they cannot get the quality ball to the back line to get that speed of play going. So if you can snub it there, that's it. Lions done.
And we can expect a lot of kicking on the back three.
Like they did on Colby, I think there were how many kicks?
Colby, yeah. So we must expect they're going to put a lot of pressure, especially on Colby, because his defence is, let's say, weaker than his attack. And the difference, that's why I think maybe Johan van der Merwe and the taller guys will get the nod for the Lions.
So,
but yeah, Springboks by 5 to 10 points.
Yes, happy with that one. Agree, concur. Yes. And then Sunday, let's not forget about Sunday. Full week, Pumas against Province.
In Nelspruit.
In Nelspruit.
Go Pumas.
Yes.
I think the Pumas players were too scared to do anything wrong after they lost last week, and the way Jimmy treated them thereafter. So, yeah, I think the Pumas should give Western Province quite a good go.
Why not? Interesting. And then Bulls versus Sigma Lions at Loftus. So as well on Sunday. Yeah, a close one, but I'll probably call it for the Bulls.
Yeah, but that I could have told you before we started the program. You're going to call it for the Bulls. But yeah, it's going to be a very close game. Like we said, the Lions has got all of their players back. The Bulls is still shorting about 12, 13 of their starting lineup. So yeah, let's have a look. But it's going to be a close game also, I think.
But the youngsters that have come through now, you know, for example, against what we saw now this week, you know, there's a couple of youngsters that are putting up their hands in a good way.
No, 100%. Yeah. So very close. I'm going to give it to the Lions with 5. You're going to give it to the Bulls with?
Bet 10.
10?
Yes.
All right. You're more aggressive than I am.
Anyway, that's the rugby for the past week and the rugby for the week that's ahead. And yes, let's hold thumbs. Know all the matches get played. And very much looking forward to it. And obviously, go Bokke.
And Lions.
Thank you very much.
Sigma Lions.
Sigma.
Thank you.
Thank you.